and welcome aboard the Knitty Stew podcast. My name is Leanne. I am the Knitty Stew. Welcome back to my channel. What I do here is I am a Canadian flight attendant. Stew is short for stewardess, and this is my channel where I chat all things knitting, and I get to bring you with me on the road, often showing glimpses of local yarn shops and trying to throw in a little bit of history from the Canadian cities I get to visit. Today I'm coming at you from Winnipeg, Manitoba. It is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, Dene peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Welcome. It is a balmy 20 degrees here, which is 68 degrees Fahrenheit for anyone in the US who's watching. And I'm not supposed to be here. Today I got out and about. It was a quick overnight. So for anyone who is a Winnipeg person who I was going to get together with whenever I got here, this was an unexpected overnight. Where I had initially planned to be was in Montreal. And I got to somehow I had been a very rare layover there in Montreal, which was right downtown, and it was 35 hours. And I was going to meet Selma from Little Big Knits, and Mega of Skeins of Dreams, and Nancy Wheeler, Knits at Sip Happy, and also Mel of Mel Makes. They were going to pick me up, we were going to have dinner, and then on the actual event day of Knit City, which is what's going on out in Montreal, I would have had to fly home, but I was going to meet them all in person, and I was very much looking forward to that. However, this is aviation, and you've heard me use this term if you've been here before, IROPS. And what ended up occurring is that our pilots, who I adore and honor and cherish, were in very intense labor negotiations with our employer, so flights were getting canceled as a result of unexpected strike, lockout. And so my flight to Montreal was canceled, and it was replaced with Winnipeg. So here I am, and I'm very happy to report that I woke up today to an email saying that there's a tentative agreement reached. And so summer flying and everyone's travel plans should go forward as expected. And I'm just so relieved because it didn't look good. It looked like things were going to be at a stalemate. So I'm really glad that I can report that this morning. And it's in the news, so this is public information, but as somebody who has worked alongside our pilots for 15 some odd years, I respect that they need conditions that they can keep working and make this a sustainable way of life. And yeah, so that's what all happened. I kind of giggle because I've had some not so pleasant flights out of Winnipeg last month, April and May. And so I was like, okay, Winnipeg, I had guests on board who did not behave well, and I'm like, we're friends off. And sure enough, I ended up coming here, and I can say that I've made up with Winnipeg. I had a great day here today. It was really great, and I hope you'll enjoy the footage that I have for you. I can't chit chat too long. I have to put my uniform on and get down into the lobby for my pickup. It's I think I only have about 40 minutes, so I better get on it. Lots to go over today. I have 3.5 finished objects to share. I've got my footage from Winnipeg. I have 3 items that, actually that's not true. I have 2 items that are works in progress, and I have 3 items that are on my queue. And also at the very end, if you wanted to stick around, I just wanted to chat a little bit about BAM. If you were here last year around this time, BAM is birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day. Basically the end of April right till middle of May. It's turning into a month-long event. I just wanted to chat about how that went down. And there's also some knitting related gifts and acquisitions, and a few podcasts that I've been enjoying. I wanted to throw that in at the very end if you wanted to stick around for all of that. But first, I wanted to do the giveaway from my 1-year podiversary that you guys, your comments regarding the Calgary episode and your clauses around busting your balls were fabulous. And I just wanted to say thank you for celebrating with me the 12 months of the Knitty Stew podcast. And as I saw the comments rolling in, I was like, this is crazy. There was like over 700 comments, and I thought, I just can't give away one skein. So I reached out to Tyler, who is the dyer from Arcane Fibers, and he's a local dyer. He's in southern Alberta. And I said, looking to get a couple more skeins of the Arcane Fibers for my giveaway. And I got home from work the following, after emailing him, there was a massive package. So Tyler not only sent me another skein of the Blazing Birch, he sent me a huge bag full of other beautiful colorways. So if you are here and you don't are on other social media, I actually did a giveaway over my birthday week for 7 days of some skeins that he had given me and sent them off to some lucky winners. Instagram is just the easiest place to do a giveaway, and so I chose to do it that way. Like, if you aren't able to get onto Instagram or whatnot, I'm sorry about that. But yes, without further ado, I have 2 winners instead of just one, and the giveaway is for a skein. The main giveaway is for 1 skein of Blazing Birch, which I used in my Zweig pullover by Caitlin Hunter. It's also for a needle gauge from Stash, which is the local yarn, one of the local yarn shops in Calgary. And my favorite tea, Bengal Spice, which I actually didn't notice, but yeah, of course, look at that. It's almost the same color. The winner of the main prize of the skein of yarn, the needle gauge, and the Bengal Spice tea is Jenny C. I've placed your comment up here on the screen. If this is you, please email me at theknittystew@gmail.com and I will get this sent out to you. And the second bonus winner is Hazel. Hazel, your comment here is posted on the screen as well. And if you're the winner, Hazel, please email me at that same email address and I will send off the prizes. So thank you so much, everyone, for entering and your wonderful comments and just being with me on the 12 months leading up to that pod anniversary. Today, I hope you'll grab your making and maybe a cold or a hot beverage, depending on the temps where you're at. I'm popping open a Wolseley kombucha, which is a Winnipeg made kombucha. There's a brewery in town, and I picked this up when I was out and about today. It says, trust your gut. And yeah, I'm doing that more and more the older I get. Cheers. Vanilla root beer. My husband does not like a kombucha. He says it tastes like stale beer. It's so good for you though. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. I did want to quickly mention that if you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We're pushing towards 10K, which is blowing my mind. And also, when you hit subscribe, if you don't press the bell notification, you won't get my notifications, obviously, when it says that I put out a new video, which generally come between 4 and 6 weeks. So thank you for that. And I'm also on Instagram and Ravelry as the Knitty Stew. First finished object I'm sitting here wearing. This is the Anker summer shirt by PetiteKnit. I had a fair bit done on my last episode, and oh my goodness, I started this April 4th and I finished it April 29th. Like, this thing flew off the needles. There's a reason I think 6,000 plus people have made this t-shirt. I made the size medium and I used the yarn that was recommended, which is Sandnes Garn Lena. And I ended up using 5.28 skeins. And I made the size medium. I think I might have already said that. So the finished bust is 37 inches and a colorway black. I needed a basic black tee, and this definitely checked all the boxes. Made it to my preferred length underneath the arms, which was, I believe, 13.5 inches. All my details are in my project, on my project page on Ravelry. And I don't know what more to say about this, to be honest. I didn't change up a darn thing, except for I only used a US 5, 3.75 millimeter needle for the neck. And then the rest I did in the 4 millimeter, which I believe was recommended, a US 6. And then for the short sleeves and this part, I actually did go down to a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. Yeah, I cast this off during the weekend away in Fernie. I got to go away with my sister and my good knitting friend Tracy from Oliver Rain Knits, and it's got positive vibes in it, and it's very wearable. Like I could see this being another staple. Maybe I would try it in some brighter colors. I do need a basic white tee as well, so definitely a product, but also a process knit. I enjoyed this from start to finish. I had to put in a little, I was gonna ask you folks about this, how you mark off the back of your shirts so that you know what's what. I've got this little cute little stitch marker that I got in my Crux Fibers package. It's actually from the Kraken Maid. She makes the cutest little project progress keepers. So I've just put that there to let me know what the back and the front is. And it might be reversible. But that's my first finished object to share with you. My second FO I cannot wait to show you, and I have to do a costume change, so be right back. Come aboard, we're expecting you. The love note promises something for everyone. Hey, sing with me. Actually, that's the Love Boat, and if I sing that, my video might get a copyright infringement, so I better stop. No more singing. This is my love note by TinCanKnits. All right, let's get into the story. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. So I saw Sophie on Cozy Meadow Knits podcast where her love note, and I was on a mission right from that minute to get my own made. So I had ordered what I thought was fingering weight for this knit, which requires, I believe, one fingering and one mohair. But when it arrived, I ordered it's Ito Kosho. I ordered it online, and it turned out to be more of a lace weight. This color had me immediately. It's from Statement Junkie in Sherwood Park, and I'd seen it when I was up there. And so I ended up realizing I was going to have to hold 2 strands together, which was fine. It looked, these little mini cones kind of deal. So I had 6 of them, and then I needed to find the mohair. The yarn is part of the story here because holy moly. I went to Ancient Arts Yarns, you might have seen that in my Calgary episode, and I picked out this. I actually had some help with this. Heather at Ancient Arts helped me with it. This is their Delicacy Lace Mohair in the Blue Spruce colorway. And it's got this blue silk, which is really the showstopper there. So I got 2 of these, and I held it with 2 of these, and it created one of these. I went there for a quick visit the other day, and I brought this with me, and Heather took it to the back and showed all the dyers. It was creating a bit of a stir, and I love it so very much. I did modify because I'm an avoider of a provisional cast on, so I just started from the top. I cast on 86 stitches. There's a ton of free information on Ravelry about this, but this is a paid pattern. It's worth every penny, but I just wanted to make a note of that was one of my major modifications, is that I did not do the provisional cast on. I started at the neckline I used a US 7 4.5 millimeter, and then I worked the increases as per the pattern. I separated each of the lace repeats. That's always the tricky part for me, is to make sure that I keep my sections separated. And so I used 15 green stitch markers and 1 orange stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. And then I increased, and I was at the sleeve separation in no time. I really enjoyed the process and the product very much. There's a reason that so many people have made this. Maybe I'm a little late to the party, but I'm here now and I'm loving it. What else did I do? You can do a short sleeve or a long sleeve. I ended up doing a 3/4, and I blocked it first before I decided to do the sleeves and deciding what length, because I wasn't sure. I worked them in a US 6, and then at the very bottom I went down to a US 7. I have little teeny tiny shorties, like 9-inch circulars, and I did 1x1 ribbing just for an inch. And this is the love note, the finished love note. I finished it on the eve of my 50th birthday, and I wet blocked it, and it wasn't dry. I wanted to wear it out for my 50th birthday dinner, but it was still too damp, and I couldn't, but it's going to be way too hot to wear this for the summer, but it is going straight into that fall wardrobe as soon as possible. And I highly recommend the love note. I don't think there's anything else I want to say about it. I think it speaks for itself. I just can't get over how beautifully the Ito and the delicacy lace work together. Like, they just played so nice. Oh, one thing I did want to actually say regarding the amounts of yarn, I'm a novice and I keep either getting not enough or way too much. So as I was working the sleeves, that was the thing I wanted to say about the sleeves. I realized I was going to run out, and I didn't want to do a short sleeve. I didn't want this knit to end. It was so fun. And I went back online because it was around local yarn shop day. So Statement Junkie was having an online sale. So I ordered 3 more cones. And my thoughts around that were I could hold the 2 together and wind up those 2 cones. And then if I needed a little bit more, I could pull from that final, so 9 cones in total. I 100% could have got away with probably 7. So if you decide to use Ito, it says that it's 25 grams. I weighed this, and I know this cardboard weighs something, but this is like 55 grams in a full one. So I'm a little confused on the yardage, but it's beautiful stuff. It's actually cashmere and wool, 90% wool and 10% cashmere. Also, I should probably mention that the delicacy lace is 75% super kid mohair and 25% mulberry silk, and there's 459 yards per, so I still have quite a lot left in the second ball. And yeah, I've got 1 full cone of the Ito left, and then these 2 little partial cones. It would be kind of cute if I could maybe make a little mini love note. I believe they have little baby love notes. Yeah, that's my love note, finished object number 2. Okay, for finished object number 3, I actually have 3.5 FOs. I don't remember if I said that at the beginning. This will be a quick chat because you've already seen completed one of these. However, this is my 5th finished Swift hat. 5th finished Swift. And what I found from the last time I made the Swift hat by Shannon Cook was that I'd wanted to go down 1 needle size. So I wanted to make it with a US 2 for the brim and a US 3 for the body of the hat. And so I did that because I wanted a little bit more snug. I'm looking a little Christmassy up in here. Anyways, this colorway is actually the yarn recommended in the pattern. It's Peaks Fairy, Quince & Co. Chickadee. It only took 39 grams, so 141 yards, because I've modified the pattern to do not a slouchy. I did more of a beanie style. I have my own little decrease sequence that I've got. All the notes are on my Ravelry page. I really like this hat a lot. It's an addictive lace and texture repeat. Again, lovely yarn, so bouncy and squishy, and I still have some of this left over, which is where my half finished object comes in. I'll talk about that next. I am a bit of a product knitter when it comes to hats. Like, if I find a good hat, I'll make it over and over and over again. Again, this is my 5th one. Will there be more? If I did make one more, my only change would be, instead of doing the 2x2 ribbing, I would do 1x1. Again, just to get that super cinched up beanie fit that I like. My half finished object, and then I will get to the Winnipeg footage. This here is Mushroom Kellimuffs, or maybe Mushroom Kellimuff, because there's only one. This is a fingerless glove pattern that just has the cutest motif, and I used the Peaks Fairy that I had left over to make the mushrooms, and a little bit of Rama and Jamieson and Smith 2-ply, and then I think the white might be Drops Alpaca. So why is there only one? First of all, I'll show you the pattern. It's from this book, Fair Isle Style by M.J. Mucklestone, who compiled it. There's some really beautiful patterns in this book. I love looking at my pattern books. And this one is actually designed by Spilly Jane, also known as Jane Dupuy. So I kind of wanted to go for the same color sequence that she had going on. And I had such a fun time working the colorway or color work, which I love. It's fingering weight, and you use recommended US 2 at 2.75 millimeter on double points. And the reason I didn't finish a second one is when I put this on, I realized the thumb, it doesn't have a gusset. Like, you kind of just leave it on hold and then you just work this thumb. It's supposed to be in ribbing 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. But regardless, I realized, you know what, these aren't, without a gusset, I don't like the thumb doesn't feel cool. So I didn't make a next one, and I probably won't. I could do some fingerless mitt surgery and pick up and then rework a thumb of some kind, but I wasn't into it. I just kind of wanted the fun of making this motif. How awesome would this be in like a leg warmer, or like the sleeve, if you did a whole sleeve in this? Oh, super cute. And that's my half finished object. Okay, time to throw in some Winnipeg footage, and I hope you enjoy. Winnipeg is the capital city of the province of Manitoba, also known as the Gateway to the West, or Winterpeg, a well-earned nickname for being the coldest city in Canada. In fact, a section on Mars has been named after Winnipeg for this very reason. Or some just call it the Peg. Winnipeg is actually Cree for muddy waters. Winnipeg is the closest city to the longitudinal center of North America. It became a city on November 8th, 1873. Winnipeg started its first garbage collecting program in 1913 after a horse died in the middle of an intersection and laid there for 3 weeks because nobody was responsible to collect it. Winnipeg was also the first city in North America to use a central emergency number. We now have 911, but back then the emergency number was 999. The primary trading in the area was fur until the 1880s, when Western Canada exports shifted towards grain. Winnipeg is home to the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, seen here. The architecture is full of meaning. The building sits on 4 roots, symbolizing the deep connection between humanity and the earth, rising into a limestone mountain surrounded by mythic glass cloud, topped by an icy tower that glows like a beacon of hope. It also recognizes that Indigenous peoples have gathered at this site for thousands of years. The exhibits are around 5 Canadian recognized genocides, but also acknowledges non-recognized genocidal atrocities, such as the Indian residential schools in Canada. On a much, much lighter note, Winnipeg is known as the Slurpee capital of Canada, named by 7-Eleven for having the world leader amount of sales for Slurpees for 20 years in a row. The Forks, National Historic Site. Over 4 million people visit the Forks every year. It is considered one of Winnipeg's greatest tourist attractions. Visitors to the Forks can expect a variety of festivals and happenings throughout the area. The market building is open daily from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can expect to find an exceptional array of dining options, local makers and retailers, a constant change of entertainment and events, and many unique attractions. Winnipeg boasts that it has the largest number of restaurants per capita in Canada, but some argue that this title actually belongs to Montreal. In 2016, Vogue magazine listed Winnipeg as an absolute must-see destination. What I also find very fascinating is that the cost of housing in Winnipeg is far more affordable than most cities in Canada. The average sale price of a house in Winnipeg for April of 2023 on the website I found was $377,000. You'd be pressed to even find a condo here in Calgary for that. And the population of Winnipeg in 2023, 855,000, making it the 7th largest city in Canada. Anyways, I grabbed myself a coffee and decided to head towards Wolseley, which is where the yarn shop is, called Wolseley Wool. I had been to Wolseley Wool back in 2017 when my niece Lisa lived in Winnipeg, and they have moved locations and they have a bright space and 2 sides of the store, and now they have a little classroom area as well. Lots of selection, plenty of local dyers. This whole wall here is dedicated to their Winnipeg dyers. One of the highlights of my visit to Wolseley Wool was popping in the back to use the washroom and then coming out and running into a viewer, a lovely lady named Carol C. She was taking a class or working in the back with a bunch of other knitters, and she said, "Are you the Knitty Stew?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And we had a nice hug and a great interaction. Hi, Carol. So if you are in Winnipeg, stop by 899 Westminster Ave, which is Wolseley Wool, and I hope you enjoy it. I sure did. So I hope you enjoyed my footage of Winnipeg today. I enjoyed my excursion a great deal. Next up are my works in progress. I have 2 that I'd like to show you. One has been in my library, I think, since 2017, and it's called the Lilou hat. It's by Caitlin Hunter, Boyland Knitworks, and I wanted to do this for several reasons. First of all, how cute is that face color work? It's so great. And second, I also really need to work on dealing with long floats. There's a technique called LBJ, Ladderback Jacquard, and I've found a video on YouTube that I really liked. And so Ladderback Jacquard is essentially, you create a stitch that holds the yarn, the darker yarn, or the yarn that you don't want to be, that you want to carry but not traditionally carry. It's hard to explain, but this video, which I will link below, I think has given me the freedom to do so. And yeah, I'm gonna give that a try because I want to make some of the Kalevala, and they have longer floats as well. And in the Lilou hat, which is, this is what I've got so far, it actually has a section that has 13 white for the face and then a black for the mouth. And so I think it'll be the perfect technique to work on and just enjoy this really great little colorwork hat. Having made Caitlin Hunter's hat patterns before, it uses the needle size and the stitch count. It is a paid pattern, so can't give you the stitch count, but I usually for her hats, I use a US2, a 2.75 millimeter for the brim, and then for the body of the hat, I use a US3, 3.25 millimeter, and then it fits me just right. So I'll be working away on that. It's really cute because at the beginning I got to use a little mini. This is from Hickory Lane Fiber. I believe they are still dyeing yarn, but I got it in a swag bag when I went to our Maker Life conference in Calgary. And then I just have some, I think this is Croy sock and maybe some Lynette baby yarn. Just those, I think white and black is essential as I was looking at the other projects, that the face will really pop out. And I'd hoped to use the Norwegian knitting thimble. I showed this on my last podcast and I thought maybe I had just bought a cheap one off Amazon. So I bought the actual Norwegian one by Loren, this one. And I don't know if I just got little baby fingers, but when I tried using it, this thing, it just wants to move and slide. So I thought about maybe wearing a glove to give this more grip, and I don't think maneuvering the wire would be a good idea. Maybe this thimble is just not for me. I'd hoped that maybe I could knit faster and also keep my tension super even with my color work, but this just caused too much frustration. It was just like slipping all over the place. So I thought maybe even putting like a band-aid, and then maybe that would hold it in place. Anyway, so the Norwegian knitting thimble, it wasn't a huge investment. It was, I think, $7. So my next work in progress, it's been getting all the love. It's a free pattern. Yay, that's fun. It's always a nice treat. This is called Taffy Waves. Oh, getting a bit of shine there. It's a free pattern by Beata Jezek, I believe is how you say her name. It's a delightful 2-color shawl. It's got a little lacy border. And in the summertime, I just love me a garter stitch project. Last year I made the Pure Joy shawl. Oh, and this year I went with this. Okay. Whoa, it's getting long. I haven't been able to stop knitting on it. Oh, I really like how the light is hitting this. So this is what it's looking like so far. I'm just getting to the place where you introduce the second color, and you're supposed to do like two row stripes, and then it gets into the really cute lacy feather and fan section soon. I've had a blast knitting on this. This was so relaxing. This has kept me company for birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day week and weeks. And what I'm using to knit it, the choice at first, so it started with Arcane Fiber, this pink, which has got pops of blue and pink and yellow. It's lovely sock yarn, squishy, and the colors, it's called Cherry Blossom. And then I paired it with Socknado by Ancient Arts in the colorway Chocolate Lab, which I thought was so fascinating that it seems to have like a warm pink undertone. So I really feel like they're playing nice together. It's so relaxing and fun. And you knit it with a US 7, 4.5mm needle. So quick and simple. I will have to concentrate for the lace portion, but I mean, it's feather and fan, so it's very much a repeat. Should be fairly straightforward. And I look forward to working on this in the next few weeks. It's especially addictive now that I'm changing the colors, but even just working away garter stitch chocolate brown makes me happy. Okay, up next on my Knitty Stew queue, I have a lovely pair of fingerless gloves called Wine and Rose Mitts. I'll try and show you in the magazine, but this is an old Interweave Knits holiday gifts, which is full of like actually treasures. It's from 2009, and these lacy little gloves are just, they're everything. I was searching through Ravelry and searching through my library of like, what could I make that would be lightweight and just pretty. I'm just feeling the craving for that over like lacy things and all that kind of stuff. So I found these. The pattern is designed by JoLene Treace, probably saying her last name wrong, but they were designed using jade sapphire Mongolian cashmere, but a lot of people have made them using drops alpaca silk or just drops alpaca. I was thinking 2 strands of mohair held together, or just something really light and lofty. But I didn't get cast on for that, so it's in the queue, it's up next. It's really something that's caught my eye, and that's what I'd like to make next. Up next will be a pair of socks. I'm going to participate in a knit along that has been started by Sam from an Irish knitting podcast. He spoke about it on his last podcast, and it's Rainbow Cal 23. And what he talked about was that we need to remember that LGBTQA plus, they're human rights, and human rights should not be taken for granted. And he's just very well spoken about it. Sam is a lawyer, a knitter, an artist. He does a lot of things. And I thought, you know what, that is a very mindful practice, and this caught my eye. You might see this or recognize it from the footage from Wolseley Wool. And this colorway is called SweetTarts. It's by a local dyer here in Winnipeg. Her name is Allie, and it is her snug base, 80% merino and 20% nylon. There's 420 yards. And I'll put a picture of how they she had a sample knitted up, and it's the perfect rainbow sock. So I will make two. The knit along goes for Pride Month, which is June, and it ends on the 30th. You don't have to finish your object, Sam said. It's just for awareness, and that's what's up on my queue after this. So the last portion of the podcast today will just be dedicated to basically speaking about BAM and some acquisitions. And if that's not your jam, then I will thank you for joining me today. I hope you were inspired by some of the content, and happy knitting to you. If you're going to stick around, I'd like to show you a few things that I received for birthday month. Oh, fire truck. All right, the first acquisition was a gift from Smita from Your Next Knit. She reached out to me. She's an online shop based in Vancouver, British Columbia. And she asked if I wanted to pick something from her store. She has great selection, and she would like one day to have a brick and mortar shop, but for now everything is online. And she has some kits, so I got to choose my colorway. And I chose this gorgeousness. Oh, there it goes. I had initially planned on knitting the drawing sweater by Tomomi Yoshimoto. But when it arrived and I was like looking at the Ramafinal, and I'd seen some projects on Ravelry, I think it's a bit too thin to be that much. Again, that drapey, the long float colorway or color work would be just something I don't think I would like the finished product of. So stay tuned. I haven't decided exactly. I've got 3 different pullovers that I'm deciding on. But thank you so much, Smita, for letting me try your yarn, letting me try your services, and maybe just promoting again some Canadian yarn shops. I'm all about it. So thank you for that. The other acquisition was just the sweetest little gift. This is the card that it came with, and Carrie from the San Francisco Bay Area, she very generously sent me a bunch of her handmade bling-orama stitch markers, she calls them. And they have beautiful little, there's like an elephant one. It's not gonna focus properly. Very generous. Stitch markers, progress keepers. She doesn't have an online shop yet, but she just wanted to send me some bling. So I just thank you so much for that, Carrie. And that means a lot to me, and I adore it. Next up, I cannot wait to show this. So my sister Wendy, it turns out that there's a theme, and every year she seems to buy me a book for my birthday, and she had asked when she'd seen me raving about this book if she could get it for me for my birthday, and it arrived the day before I left for work here. This is the Mouche and Friends Seamless Toys by Lana. It's actually all the designs are by Cythnia, Vallet. I've got my eye on this. Look at this buffalo. My husband likes the raccoon. This orangutan is adorable. They're all adorable. And this guy. Okay. Horatio. Look at Horatio the donkey with his dungarees. I can't even handle how cute that is. So thank you, Wendy, for that. Most of the things, and here's the segue into my birthday month reflection. So I turned 50 on May 9th, and I was feeling a lot of pressure around, you're turning 50 and you should do the big splashy thing. But I got quiet, and I decided that the best way I wanted to honor it was doing small little events every day or every other day. So, and then I read this, and I wanted to read and share this with you. It's from Julia Cameron Blessings. She says, "As I allow myself to receive good from my own hand, I also open myself to receiving good from others, giving them the gift of knowing that their love and contributions are felt by me as honored and important parts of my life." So as I give to myself and then others give to me and then I give to others, I was kind of part of the theme around me doing a birthday skein of yarn every day. Like it seems the more I give, the more I get. And I know that that's a spiritual law, and it just is really, I just felt that was very, very prevalent in BAM. So for BAM, I did a birthday hair appointment, got the grays natural highlights removed, which is interesting because I had thought about doing some balayage and maybe just blending it in, but when I went to my hairstylist, her name is Pear does my hair, and she was like, oh no, that's not what I was thinking. She felt it would dry out my hair too much to lighten it. So she just did what she usually does, and that's kind of like a blend of darks and browns and blacks. So I got that done. Then I got my eyebrows maintained. I get them tinted and fixed. They're pretty, there they are. There's my eyebrows. I got to go to Fernie, as I mentioned earlier, with my sister, and out to Tracy, Oliver Rain Knits condo out there, and we knit and we watched a cute little Wes Craven movie. No, Wes Anderson. Different genre. Moonrise Kingdom, which was super cute. And then we introduced Tracy, who hadn't seen Napoleon Dynamite. So we knit and ate junk food and just really enjoyed ourselves out there. That was a beautiful thing. Tracy gave me a yarn bowl, which was a treasured gift that she offered me, and I love it. I also got to go out for a birthday pho, some Vietnamese pho, with two longtime friends of mine. Oh, my husband made handmade burgers. He makes the best burgers. And so we did that and celebrated that way. And then on the actual dinner, my husband and I went out to Earl's, and just together we celebrated, we're like 26 years together and turning 50. And then for Mother's Day, I got flowers and cards. So yeah, I'm 50. And I feel like the rest of my life is the best of my life. So I think that's all I wanted to say about that. And thank you for everybody else's, your comments also about the birthday month on Instagram. Finishing up really cut with some podcasts I'm loving. I have found like some extra family members. I'm pretty sure I just resonated with them right away. The Cut Bank Girls, they are JoLene and Darlene, and they are up in Prince George, British Columbia. And they're only 5 episodes into their podcast, but they were mentioning me, and I was showing up as being tagged in their videos, and then I went and watched what they're making and how much joy that they have regarding their makes. And yeah, Darlene owns the yarn shop up there called Top Drawer Yarn Studio, and I think I might have to make my way up to Prince George. We do fly there, but not on the jets, just on our prop planes. So, and there's actually 2 other ladies too. They have another Stitch and Stash podcast, and they're also from Prince George. So they're probably all part of the same knit night. So hi to those ladies, and yeah, I do look forward to watching more of the episodes. And Queen's Yarn Boutique. I am such a silly goose. Queen is such a positive. Oops, my phone cut off there. That's my alarm saying it's time to get ready for work. So yeah, Queen's Yarn Boutique. It's Rochelle Anderson. So she is down in North Carolina, and she has the happiest podcast, and I really enjoyed watching her very latest episode where she showed off an ecto cooler, which is like a colorway of the yarn that she dyes. She's a yarn dyer, and it was a vest, and like the way she showed it and the way she talked about it, very unique format, and I loved catching up and realizing that she's a podcaster. And yeah, very positive. On a different, like a very calming, very quiet podcast that I love, it's Tetty's Knit Garden. Tetty Lutzek, she's a Ukrainian designer. I believe she lives in the Netherlands, and I really like her vibe and the quiet quality of her videos as well. And she just released a pattern called the Linnaeus shawl, made with unspun Nutiden, or I might use my Canadian unspun. And she's in Ukraine right now helping her elderly mother, grandma. She's helping somebody, so she's, I don't know if she'll have a new podcast out very soon, but I definitely enjoy knitting along with Letty. So or Teti, sorry. All right, I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. Sorry about the like, whoa, I better hurry up because I need to get ready, get down for check-in. But I'm so glad we could check in. I hope everyone is well, safe, happy knitting, summer knitting, or if you're in the other hemisphere, all the knitting. I actually don't do summer and winter knitting. I do the same types of projects. Like I'll be making pullovers in July. That's okay. I'm never not knitting. So I hope whatever you're creating is bringing you joy. And I hope there was some inspiring stuff that you saw in here today and that you felt the connection and the engagement that this channel is all about. Thank you so much for being here. Hope the skies are friendly for you. We'll see you again on the Knitty Stew.